That also reminds me, like, I don't want to like stay on Battlefield conversation for that long, even though that's where most of us came from, and that's the basis we have. When it comes to Battlefield, for example, Battlefield 5, you mentioned platoons. That thing, it doesn't exist in Battlefield 5 whatsoever, which kind of annoys me.
Makes me sad.
I mean, they do exist if you go to Battlefield 1 companion app, which is in Battlefield 1, maybe they had like with the app they had like some sort of like there was progress, I guess, to transfer Battlelog into something more usable other than like Battlelog, but into your mobile.
Didn't you apply for the platoon for the in-game UI? I'm pretty sure you
Yes,
did.
it was EUI and companion app. So it was like they were doing some progress regarding like usability, like you can use it on your phone and you can do it in the game. But Battlelog 5 came in,
Well, I never got to experience the phone part because, well, you know.
Yeah, I know. I know.
My phone was.
I mean, yeah,
nice.
Yeah, let's not talk about your phone. I mean, as a former Windows user, I know that feeling. As a former Windows, I love those phones, but Battlefield 5 completely has nothing regard to social aspect. The platoons are still there, but there's a background code basically. If you go to Battlefield 1 and you can create a platoon and change a tag, that will appear in Battlefield 5. But that's what annoys me, that Battlefield 5, everything that made Battlefield great with its social aspect is kind of gone.
We kind of had this awesome system. They broke it out with BF4. We had platoons. It was good. It worked well. It needed a little bit more.
It was a start. I wouldn't say it was the best.
It was a start. It was a good foundation, because there were a lot of times where we were complaining like, well, there's no way to search other platoons. There's no way to like actually track, clan matches and stuff like that. And those were things that we asked for quite a bit. And when they said they were carrying everything over to BF1, we got really excited. And it looked like they were laying the groundwork to do all of that. But then all of a sudden, they just stopped and took a huge step back with Battlefield 5 and just completely eradicated it. And I'm kind of curious as to what the reasoning behind that was, because it completely nixed the whole social aspect of the game. And like Tom said, I mean, we don't really want to sit here and just like harp on Battlefield forever, because I don't. But that's one thing that kind of shot me down from BF5, was that a lot of that social aspect is gone. I mean, the only social aspect I have is the fact that I already know you guys. That's it.
I mean, yeah, and one thing, it's a connected subject. It's the matter of RSP, of setting up servers, considering that with BF4 to BF1 to BF5, with every game, just the number of options was just becoming more and more barren. And that also definitely would discourage people from building communities. I mean, it's difficult to build a community if you don't really have like a constant gathering place where you can just have that skeleton of regulars who would really build the atmosphere of it.
Yeah, Teabag Clan, good example of them. They have good American servers still running on American side. Those are a lot of servers that I will play. There's, I think, AOD. They still have a couple of servers that pop up once in a while. Like those communities that are still existing to this day, a lot of those, we've said it before, they built up around BF4, and they're still going to this day. So the proof is in the pudding. It works.
Yeah, in the case of Europe, I guess one of good examples would be Semper Fi. Those guys also in BF1, they had a couple of my favorite servers. And they still managed to hold that strong, but yeah, that was in BF1.
As you mentioned, EOD, I, for example, feel sorry for them. If they're still playing Battlefield 5, and I know a couple of them still do,
I've ran into them occasionally.
Yeah, I feel sorry for them just because, like, all the tools they had to run their communities or just to introduce people to their community, it's just they don't have the tools anymore. Community servers in Battlefield 5, if you ask me, I think is a joke. It's a big ass joke, and I'm really kind of impressed in a bad way that they still haven't sorted their shit out regarding that, because I know game development is not easy. I understand it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort, but when it comes to that, there's clearly lack of either leadership or vision, I'm not sure. I can't point that finger at something and say that's the reason, because I've never been inside DICE studio and understand why is the main problem. I can only guess as a player.
I'll even go out on a limb and say, like, those communities that, in spite of all of this, they're still staying together and they're still sticking together. My hat's off to you guys, like, big time. I can't applaud that anymore, because that's awesome. That instead of building up and continuing what was done and what was obvious, what was working, they decided to take the step back. But these communities, they're not thriving, but they're still together. And that's something in of itself. So, like, somebody needs to take a look at that and go, this is not right. We need to change this and fix this and make it better.
I mean, yeah, I have huge respect for these communities, because it's something that it's been on my mind actually when I was thinking on the subject. I mean, over the time when I was playing online, which would be at this point, give or take 16 years, I've been in a lot of not a lot, let's say half a dozen communities on FPS games, a couple of different ones outside that, but yeah. The thing is, even if the conditions for keeping the community really going are good, like most of communities still over time, even if they were good at some point, they would just start kind of fading away, because, I mean, life happens. Some people just can't really dedicate time to playing anymore. That especially tends to apply for the younger members of the community who, when the community got created, they would be, let's say, in school at the university, where you kind of tend to have more time for that. And then as the life hits you, you're just kind of running out of time for that sometimes. And just over time, like, I've been in really good communities. I really... that was a lot of very good people, some of them who actually helped me also in real life. But yeah, those communities still over time, they kind of faded away. So, and that was in good community building circumstances in most of cases. So if you're in a bad spot and you still keep the whole thing going, that's really something to respect.
But I think that's kind of says the main problem we have with Battlefield 5, for example. Yes, Battlefield 5, even Battlefield 5, yes, you still can meet new people somehow. Well, be like Reddit or social media, whatever. You still can meet new people. But as you touched about, I think the problem is it doesn't have the tools, for example, to keep those communities going, to introduce new people to that community. I think the reason why Fortnite, for example, is still big right now and is the biggest game in the world is because it has those tools to create those communities. They have the playground mode, whatever they want. You can create your own custom server. You can create your own custom maps and all that kind of stuff. And Fortnite doesn't have to do that because they make all their money from cosmetics and everything. But because they have those community tools for people to create content, whatever the content is, memes or cosplays or community servers or community creations or whatever, it fuels that community feeling in the players, and it gives them a reason to come back. And I don't think I think that's what Battlefield doesn't have. It doesn't give a reason for the people to come back. And I think,
well, no joke. I think the other
actually, just can I cut in one thing? And on Fortnite, the thing is, even if, of course, we don't know that, even if it's not really financially, it doesn't give a net plus directly. The thing is, like those, like the creative mode, those maps, those memes, and that stuff. If the community influencers, the YouTubers, the streamers, whoever, post that on their platforms, and it looks like fun, because quite often it is fun, and the creators add like their personality on top of that, then it also will make some people think like, hold on, this looks pretty fun, and it's going to drag some fresh blood into the game, which would bring the investment back, at least to some extent, to the developer. So even if directly they it might not be a money bringer, then at least indirectly it still is pretty healthy for the prospects of the game in that context.
Yeah, that's one of the points I was going to make. The other one is, adding on to that, community managers and community leaders and those, they have a big influence on a lot of things. Like, okay, hey, this is the clan color. If you want to match in with the rest of the guys, kick in $1 or $2 here and, buy this thing. And that can generate sales in of itself too. So I'm not going to, bang on with your point. The other point that I want to make was I've noticed a lot, especially when it comes to like marketing and things like that, people tend to take the easiest route. If people have to jump through a bunch of hoops or have to go through a bunch of nonsense in order to try and accomplish something, unless they absolutely positively really are passionate about it and they really want to, they'll do it. But for the most part, the harder you have to make something for people in order to do, the less inclined they are to want to do it. So for example, for me to have to find let's say I'm a fresh player, I've just picked up Battlefield 5, I am not involved in the community in any way, shape, or form. Can any of the two of you sit here and tell me what tools I would have at my disposal to even try and get involved outside of Twitter, social media? I'm talking about built in the game as it is right now.
I mean, yeah, I would be able to explain it, but it probably would not be the easiest explanation I've made in my life.
Exactly. And as a first-time customer, a first-time buyer, a first-time getting on the product, I'm not going to want to do that. I'm going to, and let's go an added step further and say I'm a player who completely missed Battlefield 1. And I'm coming from BF3, BF4 days. And it's like, back into life now, and I want to check this out. Now my expectations have been completely subverted from Battlelog and going to see this now. Now I'm going, okay, where are my social tools? Don't have any whatsoever. I have no Battlelog. I have no way of looking up other players. I have no other way of looking up groups unless I get lucky, get in a server, find a bunch of clan tags, and just happen to be able in order to get in touch with somebody about joining. That's not a good thing at all.
Yeah, and they also, the thing with Battlelog versus the in-game UI is that no matter how well you design the in-game UI, then compared to the internet side, you'll still have to, as I call it, pay quite a bit of a click tax to get to whatever you want to find, just because of, let's call it, space limitations, which, I mean, it's not exactly possible to bypass that, but it's still, obviously, it's not going to be particularly comfortable.
I think it just depends on the game itself. If you, for example, like in Battlefield 5 right now, you need the only way you could meet right now is like if you're just using the game, it's through in-game chat, which is never ideal. And it's just like,
yeah, I added a couple of people to my friend list. I'm playing with them once in a while via that way, but it's more of an outlier than anything else.
Yeah,
I actually feel slightly embarrassed about the last case because I basically got pretty upset about it while we were playing Outpost, and I was pretty upset about the guy hugging the floor with machine gun instead of helping me build the tower to slow them down. We got killed. I got upset. But the guy actually responded nicely to it. He responded well, even though in retrospect he had every reason to talk shit back to me because I was kind of an ass. And yeah, kind of the next couple of rounds kind of went well. We added each other to friend list. We're playing once in a while, but yeah, once again there was like, I would say 4 or 5 cases over at this point 900 hours in the game.
Your hands upon a dead man's gun and you're looking down the sights. Your heart is warm